why between the ages of 2 to 2.5 can be a really tricky time to get rid of the dummy. Now, don't get me wrong, if your little one is having poor sleep and the dummy is constantly waking, it is so worth making changes and getting rid of that dummy. However, I would typically recommend 2 or before, or essentially if your little one is still napping, and especially if things are going well, I would typically then wait until they're not having their nap in their sleep space. If you drop their dummy, for example, around 2 years, 3 months, close to 2.5 years, there's every chance they might have a really hard time napping in their sleep space, because the naps in their sleep space, for example, their cot, can become really tricky from about 2 years, 3 months onwards. And so I would either, in that case, if sleep is at a detriment, it's worth getting rid of it, but doing it the right way, really important with some support, or you keep it until they are essentially not wanting their sleep in their sleep space, their cot, for example, and then you can get rid of it. But there is that little tricky time where you're only just keeping the nap, for example, in their cot, and if you go and remove their primary way that they settle at that point, it can make it a little bit more difficult. Definitely ask me questions if you have any around this, because I know it can be a bit confusing. If they're 2 and before, of course, but whenever you're getting rid of the dummy, make sure you've got a solid plan in place, because otherwise you might end up swapping one prop out for another.